Did it go through, I guess?
Yep,
Okay.
I think
All right.
so. Yes, it did.
Well, good morning, Meredith. Thank you for joining me here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, just curious, we were just talking a little bit before, but how did you get involved with, I'm just curious about your background and how did you get to join and lead as CEO of Honor Flight?
Great question. It's a kind of been a long time. So I've been CEO of the Honor Flight Network for almost 7 years now. Prior to that, I was outside general counsel for Honor Flight Network. So I was in private practice as an attorney, worked with them since about 2012. So all in all, I've been with Honor Flight in some capacity for almost 13 years. So the transition into this role was actually pretty smooth because I really had a great working knowledge of the organization, of its structure, of the mission, which is so amazing before I even came internally to Honor Flight. So it was a pretty neat transition for me to take over and lead this organization into the future.
Nice.
And so, in that regard, I'm curious, Sean, how did you get to your role with PDS? And then also, as a segue, how
Yeah.
did how did you find out about Honor Flight?
Great question, Meredith. So it's sort of, a winding road to where I'm at now. I've been CEO now for 3 years. Prior to that, I was in corporate America working in sales leadership roles for a Fortune 500 insurance company. But back in like 2019, 2020, my father st talked to me about PDS, the company that he and my uncle founded over 25 years ago. And they were, in their 70s at that point, talking about succession planning. And, I didn't know a whole lot about it. They were kind of, you know, private about the company there too. But, I started to learn more about it. And then I got involved in 2020 as a consultant and then stepped in the role, as I mentioned, 3 years ago. And so at PDS, our mission is providing high quality, affordable eyewear for our nation's veterans, something that as myself, a veteran myself, an Army veteran, is very proud to do. And so we're a multi-generation, family-owned, veteran-owned, and veteran-focused company too. So uh, sort of winding, where I'm at today. And so the way we got involved with Honor Flight was one of the other owners and I were talking about, how can we give back? Like what we do every day, we're doing well. We get such great feedback from our veterans that we serve in the VA hospitals. But is there other ways we can help? And so we started actually we polled our employees and we said, hey, what are some initiatives that we can support, veteran initiatives out there? And Honor Flight was at the top of the list, so it was great. And our director of HR has been involved as a volunteer in the past, and so we with our marketing team, we reached out to you guys and found out about the Lone Eagle
Yep.
national sponsorship there, and so we're excited about it. So we're really looking forward to it. And a question back to you, Meredith, is we've got it coming up here in the first week of April for our team being involved. I know it's coming up,
It's coming
and
up
so
soon.
what can we expect? Like what can myself and our team that's involved as volunteers expect to see, and maybe share maybe a memorable moment that you've gone through.
Absolutely. So it's really an incredible experience. And I think the thing that always amazes me is you think you know how awesome it's going to be and how incredible that day is going to be, even as a volunteer. So, for our veterans, it's obviously an amazing day, but even as a volunteer, you think you know how amazing it's going to be, and you have no idea. Just the enormity of the emotion and the experience of that day alongside veterans at their memorials is it's overpowering. It always gives me chills because it's always more than you think it's going to be. So I'm really excited for your team, for your volunteers to participate in the Lone Eagle Honor Flight trip because it will blow you away. I mean, it really is amazing. And we call it Honor Flight Magic. It's sort of this like inside term, but it's funny because magical things always happen. And not every single time, but just in little ways. Like two veterans will come on a trip and they will have served together in Vietnam, and they haven't seen
Wow.
each other since then. Or you'll run into someone at a memorial that you happen to know from years past, and they're just so grateful to see you and be there with you. It's just little tiny things that happen. But along with that comes what we like to call honor flight allergies. So I
Okay.
highly suggest your volunteers bring some tissues with them. The day
Uh,
can be emotional, with your veteran, with the stories they share, but also for you, just as you're there, experiencing the day. It's really
wow.
and it's all in a good way. It's not in a sad, like,
Okay.
heartbreaking. It's in a really, really great way. So I'm really thrilled for you guys to have this experience to go along with your veterans and have the weekend together. It's really, really awesome.
Nice. So we got honor flight magic and honor flight allergies to be aware of
You
there. All
do.
right.
You
Yeah.
do. And I have a story I can tell, and it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't always, everybody thinks I go on every honor flight trip. I don't.
Okay.
My job as CEO is to, meet with organizations and partnerships and carry those forward. But I also I don't ever want to take up a seat for someone else. Like, I want to see you in that seat because I want you to
Sure.
have the experience with those veterans that day. I want those veterans to have their experience, and I don't need to be on every single trip. But I did go. This was actually a few years ago now, as I was asked to go as a guardian on a special trip with a hub. And so I was a guardian for a veteran that day. He was a Korean War veteran. And we went and we were walking over by the Korean War Memorial and the wall of murals, which is
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. And he was pretty quiet throughout the day, was really excited to see the Korean War Memorial. And while we were there, a group of South Korean tourists were coming by. And you can always tell because, they carry the flag when there are tour
Yeah.
groups, like, and they follow their leader who's carrying the flag. So this whole group is coming with this guy carrying the flag. And they're talking, and they're, like, the whole group is talking and, like, animatedly. They send the guy with the flag over to us. And we're, my veteran and I are standing right by the wall. And he came
Yeah.
over and he said, "I'm here with a group of tourists from South Korea. They're really excited to see you, but they wanted me to come over because I'm the only one who speaks English and tell you thank you for saving their country."
Wow.
And that veteran looked at me, looked at the guide, he looked at me, and he said, "I can't believe you just said that. I never knew anyone cared."
Holy cow.
And so that was that little piece of honor flight magic that I got to experience. But things like that are the things that we're talking about. And so that veteran went home knowing that that whole group of people cared. They knew
Yeah.
what he had done for their country, what his
Wow.
service meant to them. And so it really, moments like that are what make us keep going, right? I mean, this is why we form partnerships with organizations like PDS, to make
Yeah.
sure our veterans get that day of honor.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that story. I think, I'm getting goosebumps here just like thinking about that, and it's going to be, wow, it's going to be an amazing experience. We actually have a veteran that works in our company who's a Vietnam veteran, and I met with him 2 weeks ago when I was down in the lab in Kentucky, and he's never been to DC before, and so he
Oh my
was
gosh.
like he was just so excited and grateful that our company's doing this, and he's going to be so he'll be on that trip there too, and
That's amazing. He will love it.
yeah,
And I love when our veterans haven't been to DC before. It's an incredible experience. But even when they have, the
yeah,
ability to share that day with other veterans is so amazing for them. They share their stories. They offload
yeah,
some old baggage. They find out that others have baggage too. And I don't know why, but for some reason, some of our veterans think like they're the only ones carrying some of these things, but they share them, and it's
yeah,
finally like off their shoulders for. So
wow,
it's really a neat experience for those who've been to DC and those who haven't been to DC alike. It's
yeah.
really, really neat.
Well, what an incredible organization you're running there. Wow, this is I'm not kidding. I'm getting goosebumps over here just hearing about this and just getting the excitement of what's to come here. So thank you.
The
Yeah,
the best part about it is it's with PDS and your service to veterans, with your organization. Our missions they're simple, right? Our missions
yeah,
are to serve veterans through our organizations, and you do it
very
through,
well
the
said.
VA and your business. We do it
Yeah,
through our organization and honoring our veterans in DC. So it couldn't be a better
yeah,
meld of missions together for this
yeah.
trip.
Agreed,
It's
100%.
pretty
I
cool.
tell it, yeah, I constantly remind our team of our mission, and it is simple, but it's like a noble mission. Like we're helping
It
veterans
is.
see clearly
It's
each day.
important.
And yeah, and we have, you know, even with we have opticians out there all throughout the country working for us, and they're interacting with the veterans there and just trying to lighten their mood and you know, help them. And so it's that's what our opticians say too, like which is the greatest part of their jobs too, just interacting with the veterans and hearing some of the stories that they can share too. So it's
Yeah, and we
incredible.
share that common ground, pride,
Yeah,
dignity, and service. I mean, that is what
right.
we all do together, and so it's neat to see
Yeah.
these two organizations come together. And you guys are going to absolutely love this. This day is it will knock your socks off. The tour day, the whole weekend, it'll be
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, great. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to connect with me here and
Absolutely.
get to know you a little bit and get me even more excited for what's to come here too.
Well,
So
I
thank you
can't
very
wait to
much.
talk to you when you get back from the trip. So
Yes,
that we
yeah.
should do a debrief. We really should. And then
I
you can tell me about your day.
I'm in. Let's do that,
I
Meredith.
love
So,
it.
okay.
I
All
love
right.
it.
Well, thank you very much. You have a great day.
You as well, Sean. It was so nice to see you.
Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.